We're here with Lee from Crooked Royal. That's all I got. It's my terrible fucking nettle scream. Nettle scream.
Good.
Fuck
good.
yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
So, man, you guys are fucking busy.
Yeah, really fucking busy.
You got a North Lane tour coming up. You're doing a show next week. I bought a ticket to.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In Kingsland, right?
Should have said I would have just put you on the door.
I'm happy to give you money. Happy to pay.
Well, thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah, fuck. So, yeah, tell us what has been happening apart from the gigs. What else is like the releases?
Yeah.
I mean, the North Lane thing's huge.
There's so much. I feel like it just consumes my life at the moment. It's literally... We dropped the album, we got signed, we did the album, we did all that. We did a bunch of tours off of the album, which I can go into one by one if you want to as well. But
Yeah, go on anything.
then it's literally just a bunch of other shows we've got coming up. There's a bunch of other shows that we've got like tucked under as well that we want to... I wish this was 2 weeks later and I'd be allowed to say them.
Yeah.
I can hint at them and say like roughly, but I'm not allowed to exactly say what they are. But yeah, there's just been a fuck ton working on music again, like immediately. So we're trying to convince the label to let us release a bunch of stuff because...
And for people who don't know, you're on Periphery's label.
Yeah, Periphery's label, 3 dot recordings. Yeah,
Sweet. You guys got signed, is it 3 years ago?
it was about...
Longer.
It was in the middle of lockdown, but we didn't announce it until lockdown just finished because obviously there was no point. No one was doing anything. And
How did that happen?
So our manager is friends with them. Him and Keith. Our manager's name's Keith and Lucas. They're friends with them. They just happened to be having a chat, and they were like, "Oh, we look after a bunch of bands. Would you want to have a look at a bunch of them?" They showed all of them, and they decided that they wanted to pick up us and Red Handed Denial, but Red Handed got picked up by another label beforehand and went that way, and we went with 3 Dot.
True.
Yeah.
How are you finding it being on a label? Do they help out financially, or is it just they do a bunch of marketing for you? Or?
Yeah, they do a bunch of marketing. It's mostly financial help. They're actually happy to like be completely hands off with all of the music side. They literally immediately said when they gave it to us, it was like, we will not. If you want music help, we will give you. We'll give you feedback. We'll give you everything, but we will leave you alone musically.
So, but they give you money to help record.
But they give us money to help record.
Oh,
yeah.
damn it! I need this.
Oh, it's not as great as you think. You got to pay it back.
Yeah,
So it's just like a giant loan.
It's like a loan, right? But you pay it back to the label.
It's like a giant loan
essentially,
that
right?
they take from royalties. So everything that we earn from Spotify, they will recoup until we eventually
Die.
Yeah.
How does...
You're not
are you
wrong.
allowed to say what the split is?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's fair enough.
I probably could, but
Nah.
it's
probably best not, just in case I've
That's all
never
good
asked.
because I've heard lots of different variations from some bands I know of who've had like 60-40. Sometimes it'll be 70-30. Sometimes it'll be whatever.
I'll say we got a good one.
Got a good one.
Yeah, we got a good
Sweet.
one.
Good.
We didn't get fucked. They're
completely robbed.
No, they're actually really nice. Like, they've given us pretty much everything we've needed, and they've just sort of helped us along the way as much as they can. And they're like, this isn't their main income or their main goal or anything. This is like Periphery's like side thing. Like, I don't even think Periphery is their main thing anymore. Like, they earn so much money outside of
It's business,
music.
right?
Yeah.
Well, the guitarist Misha, that's
Misha.
right. Yeah, he owns like how many like audio plugin companies? I think he has like Signature Guitars. He does like all these courses. It's like a full-on businessman, right? And then I'm assuming all the other guys have their own businesses or like signature brands.
Crazy incomes.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's nuts.
I imagine like the music thing is just fun.
Can you imagine that halfway down, he's like looking, he's like, oh, I've got too much stuff going. Crooked Royals, I don't need them.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Axes, what's this? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. That's why we're more shocked that we're even on it, because they've got so much going on. At some point, they looked through and they went, oh, we'll give this a listen. And they went, yeah.
Awesome,
Fuck
man.
it. Like, yeah, these guys are cool. And we were like, nah. That can't be
legit.
real. That's
That
not
can't be
legit.
legit.
Like a scam, mate.
Yeah. We didn't believe it. When we saw the email come through, we were like, that's not real. And we ignored it for like a week. And we were literally just like, okay. And then Lucas had to come, our manager had to come to us and be like, this is real, by the way. Like, this is an actual contract for a thing. We were just like, what the fuck? Okay.
That was so
sick.
cool though when it happened though, because I mean we all heard about it, and then it was when your album and all that and the videos were coming out,
Yeah.
and then the signing, and everyone was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
someone in New Zealand that's doing relatively heavy music actually got signed.
Hell yeah. It was just as much of a shock to us, trust me.
But you guys, well, I will say, you guys sound amazing, play amazing, great live show, and I think I was speaking to your guitarist when we went to that gig at
Which one?
By in town, big one. Is that
by Victor Arena. Oh, the Tuning Fork.
Oh, Tuning Fork.
Tuning
Yeah.
Fork,
Oh, yeah.
And seeing him do his
Yeah, you'll get, yeah.
and he was doing some
he's
really, and I
crazy.
said to him, I was like, bro, there's some cool shit you're doing, and he's like, man, I practice like crazy.
Insane. I've never met a person more dedicated to wanting to be just fucking amazing at something.
Oh, that's cool.
He's been the hard carry for us the whole way. We don't. We try. We're very aware that he is the hard carry of the band, and we're literally just there to fill in all the other pieces that he needs. But he won't admit it. But
How did you guys all meet?
I met Jake online. I was coming over from the UK. I just thought, well, if I'm coming over, I might as well like try and be in a band and see what the scene's like here in Auckland. Jake was just doing a video online of him doing like him doing like kick ups and playing guitar on fucking YouTube, or like what was that website? NZ Bands.
Oh yeah.
It was literally like a video on there, and I just hit him up, and it just went from there. Then we found more people along the way, and it just slowly started rolling.
Because you guys had another vocalist before.
Yes, Jason.
Yeah. And you also had another guitarist, Dan.
Dan,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. And then so now it's just a five piece.
You're a 5-piece now, yeah. Jason and Dan left, and then we've always had Connor, and then we've Kane and Christian ended up coming along because they were in Kindred Vice, if you remember Kindred Vice.
Vaguely.
They played with like Full State and all that back in the day in Animal
Head.
We did a battle of the bands. We lost to them, and then they broke up for some reason, and we were like, well, fuck it. We need a guitarist and a vocalist. No, actually, we needed a drummer and a vocalist, and they just joined. So we basically just slammed 2 bands together.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's
and
mean.
it just came alive.
Yeah, so like, I'm curious to know more about you and why. When did you start? What was the band, or was the moment you were like, I want to be a vocalist? I want to be that angry,
That angry motherfucker.
I want to be the angry guy.
Honestly, I'm so fucking bad at every instrument, and I've always wanted to be able to sing, and I can't really sing. So screaming was literally the only thing that was left.
Sweet.
So I literally remember it as I was moving over here. I went to a gig. I'd never even thought about being in a band. I'd never even tried or attempted to be in a band or make music. I was at a gig. I was drunk. I was screaming along. I can't remember the band name. It might have been Bring Me the Horizon. And some drunk dude walked past me and went, "You're really good at that."
That was it.
That was it. And I was like, maybe I should try being in a band. And that was literally like
shout out the drunk dude.
Yeah, whoever that drunk dude is, one day if I ever find him, he is literally like the reason I'm in a band.
Cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It gave me that like little bit of confidence that I never had to be like,
And
fuck
then-
it, I'll attempt it.
Now being a vocalist, you realise that it's a shit ton of work, and the lyric writing.
So much work.
It racks your brain up, eh?
It fucking blows.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. Man.
Nah, I do enjoy it. It's just weird to be like, oh, I'm going to go dredge up an emotion and then fucking write it down for ages and then try and be in that emotion to make it like come out. And you're like, this is a weird thing to put yourself through 3 hours, like 3 hours of writing it and then go back and do it again and be like, it's an odd thing to do as a human.
Yeah.
It's odd. So like, when you're like learning to scream, because I can't really scream, Scotty can. I can't. I can only can kind of sing. When I try and scream or do like the fry screams or anything, like I just blow out my voice. Like I've tried different things or whatever. How did you learn to not blow out your voice? And also because you guys do a lot of shows, you're doing recordings.
I learned by blowing out my voice. That was literally it. I don't think there's any other way. Like for me, I didn't know how to sing. I didn't know how to do anything. Like literally, I didn't know. I couldn't even keep time when I joined the band. Like that was like the biggest thing for me. I'm like playing in a band that's doing like 7/8/5/4, fucking back into 4/4, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening with this music?
Guys, just stay in one time.
You're just wishing for an AC/DC beat of just 4/4.
Just 4/4. Just please.
Why is my life hard on this band?
So you're basically blowing out your voice, and then
Yeah, it was just kept blowing out my voice until I like eventually realized like, okay, well, don't do that. And it was more of like a trial and error of literally just like, okay, this is how far I can push to here. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing to a point of where one day it would just like tick over and I'd be like, okay, so I can do that. And that feels like that doesn't hurt. And that I don't leave with a raspy voice. I can talk the next day until eventually I got to the point where I could it didn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
It just literally felt like talking.
that's the same as that. Now I send this guy videos
Yeah,
every week of me just driving in the car
death
doing
metal
just
vocals.
screams, and I'm like, it's nothing now for me. I can just blurt it out. I'm like,
It's so weird.
Similar process as well, blowing out my voice when I was younger, and I was like, I'll just stick to drums because this is really hurting. Stuck to drumming, and then but vocals, I'm like, oh, I totally understand where you're coming from on that one.
It's kind of taught me to sing now, though, which is weird. Because now I'm with all the new songs we're doing, they've got me singing on a couple of songs now as well, which has been cool.
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of taught me to sing as well, because obviously now that I've gone through the hard bit, I've realised that you should have learned to sing first, and then it makes screaming way easier, because it's literally just like a fucking like a fried sing. That's literally all it is. But I went the backwards way and fucked myself up for like 2 years.
Gotta whatever way works, right?
Yeah. And in some of the newer songs, you got some rapping and some screamy rap.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's something we're going to be doing way more of as well.
Sounds fucking
I'm down for that.
Yeah. I'm a huge hip hop fan. Like, I've loved rap forever. I probably rap and metal were like the first things I ever got into. Like Linkin Park was like my bread and butter forever.
Sure, same.
Yeah.
Same here.
It's literally the reason I like metal. It's the first metal band I ever heard.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Jumping around in my room to In the End when I was like fucking 6 years old. Not even realizing what that song was about.
Oh, no. I had no idea what any of her songs meant to wait. I'm like, man, these are dark.
Yeah, they're real dark.
I'm like 12 years old, like, I understand it. I didn't. But yeah. Yeah, that's fucking interesting. So what was the band that you were like, I want to sound like the Scream, let's say, like it was Bring Me Horizon, Linkin Park, or like what band was it where you're like, I want to try and do that or replicate that?
I think the first person was Bring Me the Horizon. I remember hearing Bring Me and being like, I'd love to be able to scream like that. But again, and I started learning to him, and obviously he used to scream the wrong way too.
Yeah, he's spoken the wrong way for a long time.
Yeah, so when you're trying to like mimic someone and you're mimicking the wrong way as well, like, because I was exactly trying to sound like him. Like, I wasn't trying to be a screamer. I just wanted to sound like him.
It was more yelling, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like
Screeching,
huge projection, which just destroy. I can't yell to save my life, but I can scream heavy.
Yeah.
It's probably the same for you.
Yeah, 100%. It ruins your voice. Yeah. Like, 100%.
Do not yell.
No, do not yell.
I thought, I remember, I never forget the first time I heard Bring the Horizon. I thought they were fucking shit. and then the Sempiternal album came out.
Oh my god!
And then I was like, oh, I stand corrected.
Right.
Yeah, but that's just me, because the first time I heard it must have been that. Yeah, it was like that first album, and I was just like, oh fucking, what is this?
So mine was the one just before that. I don't actually like all their old deathcore stuff that people enjoy. Like, I think it's crap. I don't like it either. I like There Is a Heaven, There Is a Hell, and Sempiternal. That was what got me into them.
Yep.
And that was
Sempiternal was the big one for me, where I was like, these guys are all right. I will shut the fuck up. These guys are great.
Yeah.
But I enjoy those moments.
And look at them now. One of the biggest metal bands in the world. Like,
collaborate with Ed Sheeran. That shit's fuck. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
They did a performance at like the Brit Awards with Ed Sheeran. I was like, fuck me, they're that big now. That's awesome.
If you told them when they were younger, you're gonna be. They're just like, what?
Yeah.
No,
if you go and watch the story for that as well, it's great. Where they're talking about getting the email and like he thought they didn't want Ollie. They thought they wanted just a band to play with Ed Sheeran, and they just needed a band for the
they
night.
needed a cover band.
Yeah. And they agreed. They agreed to do it without. Like having Ollie, and then they were like, no, this is like a joint thing. We're gonna make a metal song, like at the end, and they were like, oh, thank fuck, like, but they agreed already to just be like Ed Sheeran's backing band, because that's what they thought it was.
They probably could have still done it as well, and it probably would have been alright. Yeah, but way better.
That's just how famous Ed Sheeran is.
So famous.
That Bring Me the Horizon is. They would agree to be his backing band and nothing else. They'd just be there. Yeah. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't be announced. They wouldn't be on it. They'd just be like.
Have you also heard that Cradle of Filth and Ed Sheeran are going to collab?
Oh, really?
What?
Because Ed Sheeran's a massive Cradle of Filth fan. I was like, yo.
Go hard, Ed.
Damn, no hold. This is great, though. Great for the genre.
Oh, fuck yeah. It's all great. I've never understood people who think that things getting poppier or things getting more mainstream will hurt, especially seeing as the music we make is probably in like the most fucking niche it can be in metal as well. We make like progressive.
Yeah, you guys are like a tech progressive metal band, I guess. One type of genre to call it.
Yeah,
it's a mix, right? Yeah, I've seen Jake's. I watch that guy's like, because I follow him on Instagram and I watch his like, as a guitarist myself, I'll just fucking nerd out of his like sweep picking. I watched a video of him sweep picking clean, and I was like, get fucked. Because I struggle. I can shred a bit, but I can't. I'm alright. But I watch him do that. I'm like, man, that's fucking hard. Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
But again, crazy. Dude spends 8 hours, like legit, like 8 hours a day. Like he wakes up.
He's obsessed with it, right?
He's obsessed. It's like he doesn't.
I can see that.
He doesn't game. He doesn't do anything else. Like that's his hobby. That's his thing. He loves. Like he doesn't finish the day and go, oh, I gotta go play guitar. He's like amping to go play guitar. Like his whole day, he's waiting to get home to be like, I'm gonna do something new. Like, so that's, and like, I don't know what your guys are, but me, I get home from work, I'm like, I'm going to game for 3 hours and turn my brain off. He turns his brain off by sweep picking, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. How old is he?
29. I think, yeah, he's about to be 30.
I mean, we probably were a little bit like that when we started our band. We were just play all the time.
Yeah, I think if you really have like an obvious goal to work towards, like if you're playing, like you guys always writing new songs, there's always stuff to explore, I guess, and there's always a lot. But I think if you're not working on music, is really like I work on a little bit of music right now, but not as much as I was. Like want to pump out material, and you just always kind of up it. You know, you're pushing yourself all the time. Yeah, because you kind of have to, right? It's part of being in a band.
But you guys have a great incentive to as well. That the music's doing really well. It's catching on with everyone. Everyone's loving it. All of us are really. And so we're just like, fuck, more.
It does help when people like it, because it's nothing fucking worse and like disheartening when you put something out and it just doesn't get it. Like the craziest part for me with metal is I see so many bands put stuff out and it's genuinely incredible. And it gets no attention. And you're like, what the fuck is happening that this got zero attention?
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about something because I saw you post something about that Finn McKenty thing, that whole thing. Have you heard of it? So he's like a metal kind of commentator, I suppose, that talks about alternative music scene and like, you know, how popular the genre used to be, how it's not now. And he's kind of I don't know, sparks a lot of like controversy, I guess.
He's a bit of a troll sometimes.
Bit of a troll, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about that because you guys obviously like in the tech metal sort of space, so it's already kind of its own niche.
Yep.
But then of course the genre now, like I think in 2023, it's the best it's been in ages.
Yep.
Comparatively, even like compared to mid 2010s, it was like nothing much sort of going on. And now I reckon because of TikTok. TikTok's a massive one why alternative cultures and metal has come back. But I was going to ask you, like, when he says those comments of, like, rock metal is like, you know, it just sounds like this progressive, like, taking the piss out of probably your genre a little bit. Sort of, like, what's your thoughts on that?
I actually think he's semi-right. I'm not going to lie. I think when you go and watch TikTok and you look at the bands that are becoming successful, like Bad Omens and Sleep Token and things like that, they are very simplified music that have metal elements and then they're just big voices. And then kind of, Sleep Token obviously has the masks and stuff, which adds to their thing.
Yeah, the big aesthetic,
Yeah, the guy from Bad Omens is just like a really charismatic dude that everyone loves. So he's not wrong when he says like people like Fred Durst and people like that and like having that like front man or like who's like the one now, Ronnie Radke, like
yeah.
Whatever that dude says, whether it's good or bad, it
gets big. It'll be publicized.
People are talking about it. Everything he puts out, like you can't deny the guy's great at making music as well. So like, it's like he's got like the element of everything. So when Finn says stuff like that, he's pretty right, but like at the same time, he like peppers it with just like a fucking goofy ass comment that's like it ruined metal forever.
Like saltiness, eh?
Yeah.
But I kind of understand
the goofy comments bullshit. And I think it's literally just so he can rage bait. But I think the rest is peppered with quite a lot of the truth. But then again, it just comes down to if you like it, listen to it. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Like,
it comes down to like what quantifies also the success conversation, which I'm sure you guys probably talk about. Like, well, what is it? Is it getting 50 million fucking monthly listeners, or is it just being able to play the music you love and enjoy yourself and whatever, or is it making lots of money? Going into music making money is a dumb fucking thing to do.
Yeah, that's an awful idea.
It's one of the worst things.
The opposite.
Yeah, you lose all the money. Yeah. But you know what I mean, though. It's like, well, what is your personal success with music? Yeah.
It's 100% not money. Money is literally just a means to sustain. Like it's literally if we can get money from shows and we can get money from merch and things break even, we are fucking stoked. Like we did the Australian tour that we just did and it fully broke even. We made zero and we had to fork up like the cost to go over in the first place. So we just got paid back essentially. That's a fucking win. Like that's the biggest win ever. Like we thought we were going to lose like $1,000 each personally. And for me personally, I don't know, it chops and changes. Like sometimes during release, you get so caught up in numbers and you look at the numbers and they go up and they go down and they go up and they go down and you're like, oh fuck, do people like us? And then like you get kind of caught up in that and it gets to like, I think what was the highest we got to, like 40,000 monthly listeners during like the release we did. Man. And I was like getting stoked on that and I was like, but it essentially doesn't mean shit. Like realistically, I'm equating like my whole life down to a bunch of numbers. And I was like, why am I doing this to myself? And I'd make myself feel bad when it dipped. And I was like, why am I doing this? This feels such a weird thing to do. So I'm trying to I'm trying to change it in my own brain to just be like,
enjoy the moment. And I think one day I think you'll be so happy that you are doing what you're doing, even if it does cost you $1,000 here and there. You'll look back one day and you'll be like, that's me, that's my encyclopedia, that's who I am, and I'm so glad I did it, because not everyone is doing what you're doing. That's the beauty of it. I mean, if people love it or hate it, it's like, I mean, I'm all for haters, because I'm like, yeah, bring them on, man, because that's more it's more engagement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Ronnie Radke, most people hate him.
Yeah.
But he's a genius.
He fucking handles it well, though. That's the main thing. He runs with it, though. He's so good at it.
Use it as like ammunition, for like other things.
Like, have you seen him at the moment, what he's doing?
No.
Where he's literally like pulling up people's pages that comment like hateful things and actually posting their profiles and like evaluating them as a human. And he's literally, and half of the comments are like, you're a sad 40-year-old man for doing this. But then the other comments are like, no, this is great. Like, if they can give it, they should take it.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
So it's quite funny.
But your success, definitely, I think one day you're probably going to look back and be like, stoked. That's what it is.
A little bit.
Is the things that you've done.
100%.
So proud of it. I mean, fuck the money, really.
Yeah. I'm super proud. Like, fuck, I didn't think it was going to go this far. I thought we'd just do like a local band. I'd be in a band, it would go to fucking shit, and then I'd never do it again. Like, and it would just, and yeah, now we're doing everything we're doing, which seems kind of wild, playing with a bunch of bands that I've loved for years, which is the craziest part to me. Like, getting.
Imagine if you get one of, like, I'm not going to say, instead of saying imagine, I think you could potentially get onto those big American festivals at some point, or UK festivals.
Hopefully.
Imagine that. Imagine walking out in front of a big crowd going, holy shit. Like, even if you make no money, it's like, that is the pinnacle, man. That's
what I'm like trying to like rewire my brain to, because when we did like the shows in Australia and we did that whole run and all the shows did really well and we weren't expecting that. Like, we turned up and every show, it's only like 150 cap, but like still to have all of those sell out in a country that we're not from, we were like, this is wild. Like, that there's 150 people in this room, they give a fuck about us, and then we would even leave and go back and listen to music and be like, why are people here? Like, like, we don't get it, but like at the same time, it's just like, fuck. We liked it at one point. I think every musician does the same thing. Like, you fucking love it when you make it, and then the second it goes out and you've listened to it a million times, you're like, why do people like this?
Yeah. Once it's all finished, it's like, oh, over it.
That is a freaking cool experience, though, that you've actually been able to do that. Go to another country and people are singing along to it, and
fuck yeah, like God, the whole thing. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like cathartic.
It was weird as fuck. Like, we really were not ready for it, because we kind of expected we'd go, and we did like a joint headline thing, so we weren't even the headliner on it. We were like the second main headliner, right? So we thought we were just kind of there as like some people will know, some people won't. So when we had the whole crowd singing like every night, we were just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is wild.
Awesome.
We really weren't ready for that, which was cool as fuck.
Humbled.
Yeah, big time.
Australian crowds versus New Zealand crowds.
Oh.
Honest opinion.
Nothing beats Wellington for me.
Wellington?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
Never played in Wellington, so I don't know. Yeah.
Wellington's the best crowd I've ever played to. We played like 4 times in the last year. They were consistently the best crowd we played to.
Wow.
Auckland and some of the others, like Melbourne, were pretty neck and neck. They were pretty great. Honestly, it was pretty similar. I can't really think of any differences. The only weird one was Sydney, I guess, because they were, and everyone told us going in they were a little bit different. They're very standoffish and they do not like to really move, and they were kind of more just there to watch.
Okay.
Which was kind of strange, because like even afterwards we thought they fucking hated us. They were like the only crowd of the tour where we were like, oh, they fucking hate us, and like you can feel it on stage. Like, they weren't moving, but like we had there's a room full of people just standing there, like arms crossed, and you're like, okay, fuck, like, you know the feeling. Like, you've both been on stage where they're just staring and they're like, impress me, cunt. And you're like,
pretty much. That would have been crack up. There would have been like 20 guitarists just watching every little bit, going, please fuck up, and he's just going, damn it,
go out of key, miss a beat.
So we thought they hated us, and then we get off stage, and then we had like loads of people come buy merch and say, oh, that was amazing, blah blah blah, and we were literally just like, what the fuck, like,
what's going on?
Yeah, why didn't the room do anything? Like,
everyone was there like, this is impressive, but I'm not going to show my enthusiasm.
But apparently that's Sydney. Like, apparently that's just a thing that they're like there. And I was like, that seems very odd.
Now that you mention it, I saw a Funeral for a Friend concert in Sydney, and I watched them play, and that was actually very similar. It was their last time they played, like, they did like a tour when they like broke up officially or whatever. And that was, now that I think about it, people were there sort of like, and I'm like, guys, this is like the last fucking time they're playing, and everyone's sort of like, eh.
You weirdly have to earn the Sydney respect or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like if you win it though, I bet it's fucking amazing.
Oh, it would be.
I bet if that room spins and like the mosh pits start to happen,
yeah,
I bet you're
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, fuck
Ask
yeah, this
North
is
Lane.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
North Lane will know.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So because you guys doing that, it's December, because we had Chris on talking about that.
December,
so you guys doing the whole tour, right?
We're doing the whole tour. Yeah, we're doing the show. We're doing the Auckland show, and then we're doing the festival as well, which would be cool as fuck.
Yeah, that festival gig sounds sick. That does sound fucking
Fuck
cool.
yeah. I'm hyped as shit. It's gonna be awesome.
One thing also I'm curious about, I think, with you guys is it 7 years now? You guys been together?
No, I don't think it's 7. I think it's about 5.5. I don't think it's been
With
that
the
long.
complete lineup now.
No, with the complete lineup, it's a little bit less. It's about 4.5 with the complete
Yeah.
lineup that we've got now.
But
It's
you
about
guys,
5.5
you guys did a
total.
show with us though, like one of our last shows.
Yeah, it was about 6 years ago. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was
Really? Yeah.
yeah.
We did the gig at
I don't know.
It was our first ever show.
Yeah, it was your first ever
was
show,
our first
right?
ever
It
show.
was-
See where we could have gone.
You guys were great. It was Animoya, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
is.
it.
Yeah. But like, because you guys have been going since then. And what I'm curious about is like with you, because you guys got signed a few years ago.
Yeah.
So in those kind of like years before you get signed, what's kind of like, you say like your goals, always happy to play in a local band and that.
Yeah.
But kind of like what was, I don't know, what am I trying to say? It's sort of like you guys have come to where you are in such an amount of time. People get quite, I think in the beginning stage, I know I was, you're like so eager to get out and play and like release music as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that. And then you play a lot of shows to nobody, which I know you guys have done a lot
Definitely
of.
did,
And
yeah.
like done all that. So kind of, do you like reflect on that much?
Hell yeah. It makes now seem kind of crazy because we did spend about 2 years playing with fucking no one, and no one gave a shit. And no
I
one
remember,
listened to any of the
I went
music.
to those gigs.
Yeah. And no one gave a fuck.
It's been amazing watching you guys climb up
Yeah, it's been,
through hard graft.
yeah, it's literally been hard graft. That's the other crazy thing as well. I think people think we made that album and it just sort of went out, and then like some people do anyway who are supporting us now. I think we just made that album and it went out, and they were like, oh, they got signed to Periphery, and that's how it all worked. No, there was like 5 years before that where we just did a hard grind of playing to no one giving a shit, losing a lot of money to recording where fucking 10 people listened to it, and yeah, and it's just a slow grind. I think that's just the main thing for everyone. I think musicians go in. So this is the thing I've noticed with people, especially new bands that come straight in. Like, there's a bunch of great bands I can name. Even the one that's playing with us next week. Do you guys know All I Seek?
No, I don't know.
Incredible band. That show next week, do not miss them. They are the best live performance for, especially vocally, guitaring, everything. They're just fucking incredible.
All right.
The dude voice will blow you away. Like, it's. Oh god! I watched him and was just like, "This bullshit. Like, get out, like, get out."
Sounds that good.
Yeah.
It's like,
Fuck you, James. Like, we'll see him next week. But yeah,
fair enough.
but yeah, like you see them, and obviously, I think they put out great music. If you go listen to them, they've got like no listens to it. And I think a lot of people come in and they make something, and even if it does sound awesome, they immediately assume that people will gravitate to it and people will like it. And it's just not the way it works. It is long grinds and like the long yards, and eventually people will slowly build up and build up and build up. It's going to take 4 years before people give a shit about anything.
When did you guys? Because one thing like I realized with some of the music I've made, and I only really realized that when I released the Nighthawk stuff, was like I need to treat my music project now kind of like a brand, which is sometimes a bit of like a. Saying to some people, it's like, ooh, you're going to be like a brand or whatever, but you kind of have to.
You have to.
When did you guys did you guys always have that mindset, or did you guys kind of get it a bit later when you're like, oh, Crooked Royals is like, now we have to think of it more like a brand to a point?
No, we got it midway through the album. So we were like putting the album together, and we started doing videos, and we'd already shot a video, and we were just kind of, it was a fucking tedious task, I won't lie, because it's really hard to get 5 people in a room and then go, we're going to brand ourselves and make us look like, we will come to everything looking like a certain way. We will like look at XYZ, we will wear things, we'll pose, and none of us are used to doing that. Like, none of us are people who like jump, like none of us are like social media people who jump online and like want to take pictures of themselves. We're just not we're not very vain people, any of us. So it was fucking uncomfortable for us all to be like, let's pose and do things and like learn moves. And like, even on stage now, we've got like a whole thing where you're not allowed to not be moving for more than like 5 seconds. So like, if you're not allowed to not be standing still for longer than 5 seconds.
Oh wow, so that's quite calculated.
Yeah.
So you guys are like, you have everyone has to be doing something.
Yeah, and we even interchange now. That's more thanks to a guy called Steve, though, who everyone calls the coach. We went to Australia, and he fucking, shout out coach, he's fucking awesome. He does like stage direction for people, but he does it without you coming in and doing it as like a choreographed thing. He comes in and gives you like accents of movement, so it's literally just like the vocalists lead like a dance, and then it's not something we actually implemented on our New Zealand tour. We didn't do it till we went to Australia, so it's the first time we'll get to do it next weekend in front of a New Zealand crowd.
Bring your review, people. Yeah,
bring
but
it out.
It's literally like you lead it like a dance, and it forces the guitarist to move, and they have to move in and out. You weave, you go to the side, they come in. There's never a moment where the stage is like here and you're up front, that the whole front isn't filled by everyone who's there, but you have all moved to different spots at all times, and you're covering that stage from front to back.
It's the attention, right?
Yeah.
Because every time I think of band choreography, I think of like, those crabcore bands, and everyone headbangs at the same time. And
It's not that.
the breakdown. We all got to squat and like do that. That's what I think of.
No. It's all on the fly. It's all completely on the fly, but we all have that thing in mind where once a gap opens up, it is your job to fill it. It's the guitarist's job to fill it. Me and Christian will lead and move. That gap opens up. It is Jake and Connor's role to literally just slide straight in, and they immediately need to be in there so that there's never a gap in the line. And then we're always moving together on the beat, and it's fucking tiring, but it's been so worthwhile. Like,
what does that does that get more out of the crowd? Like, do you notice that you actually see like a response, like people like, I don't know, start moshing or do something themselves?
100%.
Psychology.
Yeah, it's almost like they mirror what you're doing. If you're willing to give like the energy the whole time, it feels like they just mirror it back. That's kind of how it felt in Australia, because like, we could tell though, even some, like for the first couple of songs, they were a little bit apprehensive as well. Like they wanted to just sort of like do the same thing as Sydney, where they stood there like, okay, impress me. And then once you were moving, they were like, oh, okay, they actually came to like play. And like, this is actually going to be a show. This isn't going to be 5 dudes standing still while they try and like play some music. Because that was the thing that Steve was telling us. He was like, it's a show. He was like, act like people paid to come to see you. Don't fucking go play music. They can go sit at home and listen to that better than what you're going to do it live anyway. So
true.
That's so he was
very
like,
correct.
Yeah. So he was like, make it a show or don't fucking turn up. And we were
you're
literally
entertainers.
just like,
You're entertainers.
Yeah.
As well as musicians.
Off that, talk to me about the writing and the recording. How does that all happen? I'm presuming that the guitarist does a lot of homework for the band. But like the drums, like where are you recording? Who are you recording with? Or are you doing it yourselves? Or who?
We did the album with Zoran, and we mixed with Zoran, and we recorded with Zoran, and we did the mastering with George Lever. He's the guy who does, he did Sleep Token, he does Banks Arcade, he did Thornhill, he does a bunch of bands. Which was dope because we got him to mix the album and he liked the album, and now we're working on this next stuff with him. So he's actually producing it and going through it all and actually giving us a bunch of feedback, telling us what's shit and what's good. And then he's going to mix it at the end this time. But we're still recording with Zoran this time, and we're still doing a bunch of production with Zoran. But once we're done with those two, it will be shipped off to George, and then George will go through it, which is pretty cool to have like someone like him in our corner.
Like the real producing. So it's almost like you're doing massive amount of pre-production.
Yeah.
A big. This is going to be big, isn't it?
I hope.
The best material we've got yet.
Yeah.
No, but it's good because
every band in the world.
but it's good because you really do filter through it, and you have someone who like around you that is outside of the band that's honest, and they can go, this is good. So it'll be someone's favorite part, and they'll be like, bye.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we can't be precious about anything. We've literally, I think we've written 5 songs now that have not been good enough, and when we listen back and we put them on there, they could have been on our last album. They 1,000,000% could have been on our last album, and they got listened to, and they're like, this isn't good enough. This isn't. Yeah.
That's cool though. That is kind of cool. That is an awesome and some scary but feedback. A good pressure to have to get things done.
It's going to be great in the end. It's been tedious now because we've only just got to the point where we actually have like 2 working songs. We could have had an album by now and ready to like put through and put out, and instead we've got 2 songs and we've got to keep going until we've got.
Are you going to be performing these new songs?
Nah, not yet. Not until they're recorded. We don't record with Zoran for like another 3 weeks, so we wouldn't have the backing tracks and everything and all the synths and everything done.
I'll go stand outside as Zoran's garage. Just get like a little like.
Let's see what you sound like.
So with the writing, because there's 2 vocalists in the band.
Yep.
How does that happen?
It can be. It's either very easy or very hard because obviously we have to weave between each other, and a lot of times because we write it completely differently. It might even end up being like Christian does a bunch of melodies, and then I end up changing all the lyrics, or I'll write a bunch of it, or it can literally be vice versa, or like I'll do a bunch of melodies, and Christian will be like, okay, I'm going to redo these lyrics so the song actually makes sense because we end up writing two separate things that are about a thing. But actually don't make any sense because we're coming from two different points of view about one story. So it's kind of a weird thing.
That is tough. I always battled with, as you would know as a vocalist, I battled with myself.
Yep.
But having another person, and he's a fucking good singer too.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's he singing these words? But I want to scream them. And it's,
It does happen. Yeah, it does happen for sure. But again, neither of us are precious. We want to make a good song. We don't actually care who's on the song. If I'm on the song for 30 seconds, I really don't care. As long as the song turns out well and it's actually a good song, I'm happy to be on it for X amount of time. If I need to be on it the whole time, sick. If I can 10 seconds, cool. It doesn't really mean anything to me when it comes to that. I just want to make really good music.
Sweet.
Yeah, but it's getting to that point. That's the hard bit.
Who writes the most lyrics out of you two?
You would write probably the most.
Probably
words.
the most. Yeah. Unfortunately, probably me. Just because I've got
you
more.
write lyrics for him to sing as well.
I have done. Whether he keeps them or not is a very different thing. He probably keeps, I don't know, fucking 30% of what I write for singing. He's way better at vocal melodies and things like that than I am. He's been doing music for way longer. He plays like keys and fucking guitar and.
Yeah, I heard him do an acoustic performance. What show was that when he came and did like an acoustic?
It was a Banks Arcade one.
Was that one?
The first ever one they did when they did Whammy Bar, not the one at Tuning Fork, because Jake broke his arm. So we were on it. So we came out and did an acoustic set instead because that was the only thing we could do. We didn't want to leave the boys fucked.
Sounded
Got like a week
sick.
out.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. It's weird doing.
It's not the same without me.
No. God damn it. No, fuck no. It's way better without me. No, Christian sounds great. It's more just transferring proggy, techie songs to acoustic guitar that is odd. And then you've got such huge chunks of me in the song that you kind of have to drop that now the song kind of doesn't make sense when he goes from like one section to another. So it was really cool and he did a fucking awesome job of it. But like we realized that we really need to simplify our songs so that we could make like acoustic-y things out of them. And
suddenly
like
the 7/4 to like 3/4 time signatures trying to do an acoustic set.
That shit needs to do one.
Yeah.
Which is actually something we're probably going to do away with a little bit.
You're going to probably chill out a little bit on maybe some of the more, or maybe just when it more naturally comes.
Yeah.
Not that you guys force it. I don't think you guys do force it. It doesn't sound forced to me. But maybe just Jake will have to maybe change it up a little bit. You've had those conversations?
I think it's just more that we didn't write collectively. We used to just let Jake go and then we would try and
work around it.
Yeah, and we would make that into a song however we could. It was like a riff salad that we then forced a song into. And now it's more of Jake comes with X like amount of different ideas and not a song, and then we go, we like that idea, and then we've been building a song around it. Because I think that was the thing that when we took it to George and stuff, when they've listened to it and they've gone, this is good, but this isn't a song. And that's been like the main consistent feedback I think we've had from people is, it's good, it's not a song, which is I think what Finn is getting at with like things like gent and prog. Like saying they ruin metal is wild, but sometimes when you listen to those things, it's not a song. Like it's literally, it is a 6 minute.
It's like a jam almost. Yeah. Kind of joined riffs
As an obsessed
together.
guitarist that's damn good at what he does, and he's been given a free space to go.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you have to actually just play like one note now.
Yeah.
He must just be at some point just stewing but he was like, live, I'm gonna fuck this up.
Well, that's the thing. I think Jake has got such an appreciation for live now. Originally, we didn't play as much live, and we weren't getting as many people coming out. So now that he's seen crowds moving and singing and things like that, he's realized that I think he's realized that he just likes that just as much as playing guitar. He likes the idea of sing-alongs. He likes the idea of people moshing and things like that. He doesn't actually want a crowd full of people standing there watching how good he can sweep. He obviously still wants to sweep and do those things, but they are very minimalized down now to a 10-second part that is the impressive moment for people to look at Jake, and then it goes back to being a song instead of being like.
And you've always got those songs there. If need be, if you're at a gig and it's a bit rowdy, you're like, oh, let's bring out the old tunes and get a bit rowdy with these guys. And that's the beauty of it. If you do some stuff that's a bit more straightforward now, it'll appeal to a different audience, which is always what you want.
We'll still keep it. The aim is to be like, I don't know if you guys listen to Polaris much. You ever listen to
I do,
Polaris?
a little bit.
Yeah, rest in peace to
Yeah,
the
to
guitarist.
Ryan. Fuck yeah. That was
sad.
Yeah, sad as fuck. Especially he's so young.
26.
26, yeah, crazy. And he was really nice to us as well because we did the Polaris.
Yeah, you guys
tour here.
did.
He was
Yeah,
lovely
I'm
to
not.
us. They're all really nice dudes though. But he was such a lovely dude. Like, couldn't say a bad word about him. So when I saw that, I was just like, okay, that blows. Like, yeah. So yeah, rest in peace to Ryan.
Yeah. I've got a little story about you that I want to bring up. One of the first times we met, I remember
know
I
what
told
this
you,
is.
do you know what this story is?
I know what the story is.
What is it?
Your favorite band is Enter Shikari?
Yeah,
Is it
you
this
told
one?
me in the music video.
Yeah.
And then it turned out it was a lie.
Yeah, it was a lie. God damn it! I knew you were going to bring this up.
Oh, fuck yeah. I was definitely going to bring it up.
I knew it coming anyway. Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, in my defense, I just moved to a new country.
Yeah.
I had no friends. my friends had always said that I looked like a dude in that video because he's got like the same scar on the back of his
Yeah,
head. So
yeah.
as like a way to get in with people talking about music, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in that video.
Yeah, I'm in the video.
Yeah.
Mate, it could have
And
made sense.
drunk as fuck as well, may
Yeah.
I add. Like, this isn't a sober thing that came out of my
still remember
my
it.
brain. It was a very drunken thing that came out, and I was like, oh yeah, probably.
I
should.
didn't know till years later. I remember, like, yeah, it was with you and Christian. And Christian was like, he's lying.
No, it wasn't
Was it
Christian.
you?
It was me. I was
it
like,
you?
no, I was
Oh.
lying.
I was just
You
like,
asked me
that's
about
so-
it, and
yeah,
then
I
Christian was like, "Are you?" And then I was like, "No, I was
oh,
lying."
that's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
was
was
like-
so fucking funny.
Because I'd forgotten
Because
about
I
it, and I was
fully
like, "Oh,
believed you, and I'm like, I looked at him, he's not, and I don't think he's in it. Oh, no, must have a different haircut. He must have a different haircut or something. I don't know.
oh god,
Sent him down
yeah,
a rabbit hole.
Embarrassing, yeah.
Was he another one? Maybe he got the song name wrong.
yeah." No, I just moved here. I was like young and drunk, and I thought, yeah, I don't know why. What a weird thing to do. Like looking
was
back,
funny.
it's just like, just a strange thing to do.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It did crack
More
me up.
embarrassing and awkward for me, but yeah.
Yeah, I had to bring that up.
No, I knew you would because I remember us having that conversation in Ding and me being like, "Oh no, I was definitely lying."
That shit's cracker.
Have you
Yeah.
started? Have you started learning any instruments at all now, or any ambitions to?
I've started trying to learn piano. I
the
love
best
piano.
instrument, the
Yeah, good
best
shit, good
instrument.
shit.
Yeah.
I love piano.
Same,
Like,
yeah.
it's like the new Sleep Token album is incredible for me.
I haven't listened to the whole thing. I've listened to a couple of singles, but
But
I love it.
So piano, you started, or that's something you want to do?
No, I've started. Honestly, I say I've started. I can't play a whole song. I learn the intros and the outros to like everything, or like the really easy parts, and literally getting two hands to work together is a bitch.
so hard.
Like it's the worst thing.
I can't
ever.
do it. I say I do like one hand keyboard. That's all I can do.
Yeah, one hand
The
key-
two hands. It's so difficult. Yeah.
I can play like the intro one hand, like that's no problem. But the second you've got to have the fingers go and tap down, because it's not even like they're doing this as well, which feels way more natural. The other one is just ding, 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 and these are going, and that my brain just can't. But so I'm trying. I just suck. Yeah.
Just keep going. Oh, that's cool that you're doing that. And what about
Yeah.
outside music? What do you like doing away from the band? When
Away
you're-
from band.
Away from the band, yeah.
Away from band, I'm a giant fucking nerd. I love gaming, and like I played Magic the Gathering, and what else?
I used to love playing Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering's the shit. I fucking love it. I like sports as well, but I don't play as much anymore. I used to play basketball a lot.
Cool.
I watch a lot of UFC and boxing.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I
as
mean,
well.
he trains at CKB.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck yeah. What are you doing?
When people say train, we want to be like, I'm not like in there with Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
Well, you actually
I
were,
train.
weren't they?
I train. I was in a class with him at doing a jiu-jitsu.
Let's go.
I didn't. I saw him and I was like, I'm gonna stand over here,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all those guys are gonna be over there. Like, I'm like, fuck that. But even then, yeah, I ended up doing some like rolling in that with some black belts, and I sprained my rib. That was fun. That was inevitable.
I feel like that's how that goes for everyone. Everyone goes in going to be like, I'm going to be an MMA fighter. And then they leave like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not built for this.
Nah, I never got into it. I've done kickboxing for a while, but I've never fought that. I just go there because it's a great gym and I enjoy the fitness and training. It's great for self-esteem and confidence. And
Yeah,
that.
hell yeah.
So that's why I do it. And it's a nice gym, but yeah, there are moments I'm just like, so this is intense. Like, yeah, you see, like, I see Dan Hooker train or some of those guys. I'm just like, fuck. Especially that recent fight. I'm assuming you watched that fight the other week.
The Dan Hooker fight.
Yeah, did you watch this?
my
the other
No,
one?
I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the full fight.
Bro, that's like fucking insane.
Yeah.
You go and watch it if you.
Yeah, go watch it.
I'll go
I
watch
don't
it.
want. We won't spoil
I just-
it. Go watch it.
Who did he fight? I'm trying to think of who it
Jalen
was.
Turner.
Jalen Turner.
Jalen Turner.
Yeah.
the tarantula. He's like,
I know I watched the highlights. Just run me through it quick. What happened?
Well, basically, like
just
in
a
the
war.
Twig like a minute.
yeah, he was just getting completely fucked up. Like,
Right.
'cause he got like the big one was the head kick to the face.
Oh, that was what I watched.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
and he,
watched
like,
how
broke
the
his jaw. His arm was already broken.
He broke it in like
he broke his arm.
It was
Yeah.
really early that he said it was basically in the first round or early second. He said his
Yeah.
arm wasn't working. That's how he got
Yeah.
a massive head kick because his hand
Yeah.
didn't.
Kid couldn't put it
and
up.
he just kept throwing it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So he was like, yeah.
You got to be a different human to do that, I think.
Yeah, and then did he
Like,
get a broken nose or something as well?
Oh, it's just his orbital and arm.
the face kick was wild. So I went back and
Yeah.
watched it afterwards because I went and watched the face kick because
Yeah.
I just kept seeing online how didn't he get knocked out? 'Cause it's not even that he didn't get knocked out, he just ate it
Yeah.
and just carried on. I
And
was
then
just
he
like,
won
that's-
the match by point because in the last couple of rounds he came back. Like,
Right.
but the first 2 rounds, like, oof, don't know if whoa, yeah, he fucking did it.
You got to be built different for that sport, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I did boxing when I was younger. I got punched in the face a few times and then
Yeah.
was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
It's pretty humbling, when it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah. I enjoy it. I'm not really like a team sports kind of guy. Like I've just never. I used to play a lot of tennis. I enjoy that. I haven't played that in a while. But I like the sort of the all round fitness as well you get from martial art training. I really like that because it's kind of a bit of everything. I'm not really a gym guy like doing weights and
me neither.
stuff. I'm not that sort of dude.
I am. I love it, but it's more for me. It's more for mental. It's not,
Yeah, it's-
I do it because it's like this great routine and great release and all that. I was just gonna ask, do you do any like sort of physical sort of stuff that goes, physical exercise that goes with you, or is
It
it
goes
just
with-
we go straight into live performance and let loose? Or?
No, it's on because our practice is a run like a live performance. It is literally like a 2-hour cardio workout because, as I said, we do like now we don't stop moving. So it's literally just constantly moving and we do a 45-minute set. So it's literally 45 minutes and then like a 10-minute break and then 45 minutes again of non-stop movement.
Do you guys do like vocal? Do you do vocal warm ups or?
We will do a vocal warm-up. We do a thing now where we just do a song acoustically out the back, which is kind of weird when I have to scream.
Do you scream in the
Yeah, I have
acoustic?
to scream acoustically. Well, because it's the only way I have to warm up.
Of
so,
course,
like,
of course.
Do you know,
Yeah.
I
It
just
sounds
add
good.
to that just before you carry on is I love it when a band does. If someone ever asked me to do an acoustic, I would totally do my big death metal scream.
Do the screams?
Yeah, because it's so nice hearing clean screams
Yeah.
reverbed
Oh,
out
yeah.
with an acoustic guitar. They're not always through the song, but they're in pieces. And,
Yeah.
to me, I love it.
It
But
does add a lot of emotion, especially if
it's
they're
brilliant.
singing.
I hate it when you get like great. Or you get like a big band that has a screamy part in a song, and,
Yeah.
and they pull it back and do an acoustic version. It's just singing, and you're like, "Where's the heavy stuff? We know you can scream. Just scream. I want to hear it raw." You know.
Well, I Prevail do a good one, and he screams as well, which is where the first time I was like, oh, okay, screaming does work in an acoustic
does.
setting. And they did it in front of an audience as well, and I was like, okay, maybe it's something we'll try
If
down
you
the line.
do, please do it because
Okay.
I'll be hooting for it.
Okay,
man. I
I'll
wanna
try.
hear it.
I
So-
mean, yeah. I've only heard it. I think I heard the I Prevail one.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It can work really well. It's
Yeah.
just I guess you initially think it's a very delicate thing, so you sort of like
It can be cringy. Like, it depends how you like approach it. If you're approaching it the way you're saying, I think it's fine. I think if you just go in like, you're gonna it's gonna sound awful, and no one wants to hear an acoustic guitar by some dude just does fucking crazy, like gutturals the whole time.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So basically, how many times, or do you rehearse weekly, or do you do it once every 2 weeks? or-
Weekly, yeah, we just do it weekly. So yeah, just every Thursday we just do it. It's like 3.5 hours, but we have like a band meeting afterwards where we sit down and we go over everything that we need to do.
And everyone's got
stuff.
a job in the band after hours, and they
Yeah.
do all that. Yep.
Yeah, so we go through and give everything and post merch and anything else that's happening for the week. And
Who designs the merch?
It was originally me. Now we've actually outsourced it because it's just too much work for me to be doing that and everything else.
Because you do a bit of graphic design and
Yeah, a little
all
bit
that,
here
eh?
and there. Yeah. But again, it's just too much time. I don't have the time of the day anymore to be doing all that because I'm pretty much at this point. I pretty much manage us for this side of the world because our managers are in America. They basically look at like big picture things, and I'm dealing with everything else that's like on the ground. So if there's like an email, I do all of our social media, I do all of our posting, I do all of our like setups.
Are you doing all the social media?
Yeah,
It's a
I
big
do
Oh my God.
all of the planning. The boys help with like execution, but like when it comes down to like planning and everything else, it's literally all on me. So it's just too much for me to be making merch and shit as well at the exact same time.
On a sort of digital marketing sort of question,
Yep.
what platform do you guys not streaming? Oh, actually, you could ask that as well. Streaming service, but which
Yep.
like YouTube to Instagram to Facebook to TikTok, or if you guys use other ones like Pinterest, I don't know if you would, but which one do you find you maybe get the most engagement out of?
Probably Facebook, I'd
Facebook?
say, yeah.
Really?
I wish it wasn't, because it's no, only because people like move away from it, so much. Like people are trying to actively move away from Facebook.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's been happening for a while.
I haven't had it for 2 years.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So eventually, people are going to move away from it. So the fact that that's our largest engagement kind of sucks, because eventually people are just going to be done with Facebook.
But that's because you guys, I'm in your group as well, the Cook and Rolls group. So, but I imagine you get a lot in there, which is great because it's all about the band. But when you're on your actual page, like, do you guys still get lots of new people coming in on the Facebook page itself?
No, we definitely do.
That's good. That's cool.
Instagram does quite well for us as well. TikTok is not that great for us, I won't lie. We're trying to, but it's just, TikTok's pretty hard. Like, I think people think you just
have to
post on TikTok
really,
and it goes.
so because we do TikTok with our podcast, and it's quite funny to like see what will randomly do well and what won't.
Yeah.
So one of like the videos I've posted, if I go like because you guys are a band, so you obviously want to post your music.
Yeah.
But when you like, for us, I'll just try and like look at music that I want to put on, and I'll look at like some trending stuff or like trending things, and some of it's fucking cringe because it's TikTok, but it will do well.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's interesting.
we'll post on all platforms. Like that's the thing. Like we were talking
all
about branding
platforms.
and marketing earlier. Everything will go on every platform. There's literally however you can get out there, we will get out there.
Yeah.
We even post our stuff on Reddit like once a week, like because there's literally the metalcore Reddit thing as well.
Yeah.
So I think every 90 days you can post a song in there as long as it's not the same link. So every 90 days we will put songs in there if someone else hasn't
That's a
put
good
it in
idea.
there for us. Like literally anywhere and everywhere we can put music, we'll put it out. So you just if you see our name, we don't even need to click it. Most of the time people just want to see the fucking name, because if you see the name enough, you go, who the fuck are they? Like, I'll click that, fine. I'll click
What
that
is
thing.
it? What is it?
Yeah. Like, that's all you want. You kind of want to just wear people down to the point that they click the links.
But you just spam people, Spamming is key. Spamming is key. It's true, but like you got to post so much now. It's like content. We talked about that a while ago. We don't need to go into that. But
With JP, I think I saw with JP.
Yeah. It was just like all about the content stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a ton of work.
It's a lot of work. And then your best streaming platform, probably Spotify, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Spotify for sure. Yeah. 100%.
But you guys are across like Tidal and Apple Music.
We're on all of them.
and
Apple
all
Music
of
does
them.
pretty well, but we're on everything else. I've never checked the rest. I don't even know if the rest have a statistic thing. I know Apple does. We get the update from Apple, and we obviously have the Spotify for Artists thing that we log into. Other than that, we don't check any of the rest of them, so I have no idea how we do on them.
Have you had any other artists try do like a cover of your song or anything?
Never had artists do another cover. We've had just like people do a cover and like send stuff in. There's a couple
That's
on
fucking
YouTube,
cool.
which is cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they've mostly been guitar covers. I won't lie.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's mostly just people doing guitar covers, I won't lie. And then a couple of people have done like a little acoustic things. One dude does transfers all of our songs to piano, which is dope as fuck. So
That's sick.
we're
So
just,
you're excited.
so I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're actually going to work with him. He's a dude in Auckland. He's coming to the show next week, so we're going to have a chat to him. We might actually make a piano version of the outro song on our album called Between You and I, because it's like the only full soft song on the album. So we actually might make a piano acoustic version of that with him.
Nice.
So that'll be cool.
With some screams. I'm just like, throw them in there.
Put the screams on it.
Yeah. Nah, awesome. Fucking hell. Got any quick fires or nah?
Quick fires I can think of right now. Ooh, all right. Let me. I don't know if it was like a quick fire, but something I thought of. What's something you would say in a band is underrated to, I guess, put your attention on?
Underrated? What do you mean?
So sort of not underrated, but I guess like something in a band, like in the band now, and something if maybe you spoke to Lee 6 years ago when you guys started, it's like, oh, we should have started doing this earlier.
Oh fuck the whole thing.
Like which aspect, if you can think of one in particular?
Fuck, I don't know, to be honest. This because we were doing social media. I guess taking it more seriously, because we took it very lightheartedly. We would turn up and play shows drunk. We would we now treat it like it's a job, like it's not a job.
It is
yet.
a business.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're trying to make it a business, so it's more of like a manifesting. If you want to make it a business, treat it like a business. Treat it like a job. Treat it like a business. Turn up and act like in the exact way, and like everything else the way you should. We should have learned that 3-4 years ago. 100%. We didn't learn that until we were like, probably halfway through this album. We realized branding and marketing and everything that goes with it. And that would be the 100% the one.
Okay, let me think of another one. Okay, a band right now that you reckon deserves much more credit than they're getting.
A big band or a little band?
Anyone?
All I Seek, the band I said earlier,
yeah?
for sure. Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Maybe a bigger band, Jeff.
Who's like a bigger band that I think deserves a bunch of attention? Probably Monuments. I don't think they get enough attention. I think they're like in that middle range of like people like them and people know them, but they're not a big band and they're probably barely earning a wage, I'd say. Like from the amount of... I actually watched their podcast recently and they said how much money they're, and I think they probably just barely get by from what they were saying.
It's always sad, with that shit. Especially, like, I know the name. They've been around for like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a bit longer.
Oh, way longer, I think. They've been around for forever. Like, they were back when I used to live in England, so like 8 years ago. Yeah, so it's been a minute. They've been around for forever. But, yeah, them for sure.
What's your favorite hip hop? If you have a favorite hip hop.
Oh, I don't have a favorite hip hop. I'm trying to think of what I'm listening to at the moment. The last one I went and saw was NF. I like NF.
I was just going to say, do you know who inspires me the most?
Yeah.
NF.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck, he is.
He's incredible.
He's a motherfucker.
The Search album's amazing.
Dude.
It's honestly, to me, it's metal in rap because it's what people in metal talk about. But
I've just met my other.
Did we just become best friends?
We just became best friends. Yeah, totally, because that's exactly where when I was doing music and people asked what influenced me, it was the progressiveness of NF and how he scaled his vocals, and that's
100%.
generally what I was doing.
Yeah. He gets aggy where he needs to get aggy. He just raps fast.
But
it's
you switch it
emotional.
into a scream, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's damn it. There is people like me.
Yeah. But there's so many. I've listened to hip hop for forever. So literally everything. I mean, I think the first ones I ever listened to was literally like Tupac and Biggie. So like it's like forever ago. And again, listening to when I'm like 8 years old, thinking I understand what they're talking. I didn't have a fucking Scooby-Doo what they were talking about.
Too.
Yeah.
With my lemonade stand or something, right?
So it's crazy to look back and think I was listening to those albums, thinking I knew what they were talking about. And
That's funny that you mention it because the first album I bought was Scribes. The Crusader album. And there's one song where he's like, I can't remember what song it is. I think it might be in Dream. He's like, I'll give up the drugs and alcohol. And I'm like 8 years old, like, yeah. Give up the drugs and alcohol. Definitely.
Fuck yeah.
I've seen it all. Haven't seen anybody do a drug in my life.
Yeah.
But I understand. That's fucking cracker.
Yeah.
No, cool. I definitely say NF is the shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What's let's say favorite alcoholic beverage to have at a gig?
I don't drink anymore.
Oh, good man.
So none.
Good on you.
Yeah.
When'd you start?
It's probably got to be about 9 months now. So yeah, I just don't drink. I don't drink at all. It's not that I won't. Like I'll have a drink if I really wanted one. I just don't enjoy the anxiety and the hangover that I get from them anymore. Like it's not worth it to me anymore. I'd rather have a clear head for a week, well for forever, than spend 3 days of my week still fucked from drinking till 4 a.m. on a Saturday, and come Wednesday I still feel like shit.
You know what? It's becoming so much more common. Like I didn't drink for like 10 years. I was like sober, but that was different issues. But a lot of my friends that are older than me that are like surfers and stuff, they purposely won't drink anymore because it completely fucks their weekend, which fucks their surfing, which is their free time away from the wife and the kids. And they're like, I'm not sacrificing it with a few bevies, you know?
100%.
And it's made their lives a lot better, but it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't drinking.
It's just fucking up my mental health. Like I can't spend 3 days feeling like shit and being like, like it's weird. I don't know. I'm sure I don't know if it does it for you guys, but I know it does it for other people. Where you worry about things you did and you didn't do anything. Like you've just had a perfectly normal night out, and then you literally just got this like overwhelming feeling that something bad has happened. You're literally just like, why is this happening?
Well, it's nice
I can't do that.
It's nice to have a drink with like a dinner if you're with your missus or something. You go out and you have a wine or whatever. That's fine. But it's like the actual getting on the piss stuff.
Yeah,
it's
I would
just
do
like,
that.
oh fuck this.
I'll sit down. I've got a new thing with the guy from Finger Tight Red, where we will smoke cigars and drink like literally like this much of port.
Yeah.
Like, because it just, the sweetness goes with the
Yeah,
bitterness
it
of
goes,
having a cigar. So we'll listen to music, we'll smoke a cigar, and we'll have a little bit of port, which is nice. And it's just to relax and just hang out and just chat.
Well, that brings me to my next thing, which will be hilarious for you when the Crate Day gig does happen.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably be pretty straight now and just going, holy shit.
Yeah,
people,
fuck yeah.
man. You'll be able to just like exit stage left.
Yeah. I hope so. Drunk people catch you, man. Like,
they
fuck
do,
at gigs. They'll trap you.
And that's when you realize how fucked up alcohol is, and they're all in your face. There's saliva everywhere, and it's just like
the personal space goes out the window real fast.
Oh, dude, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like a maybe more of a not personal, but just sort of like, I guess not. I don't know, just opinion. Biggest change. So when you moved from England to New Zealand, what was like one of the biggest things you noticed that was super different from back home? Can be good and bad.
Country wise or me?
Can be either, but good or bad.
Good or bad? The food is mad different. It's crazy different. But I've come to love like the food here now. So I'm actually, when I'm going back in January. So it'll be cool to see. But there's like little things I just miss here and there. For me, I was a bit of a dick when I left the UK. I didn't really like the person I was. It's actually why I went traveling and left the UK and wanted to move away and kind of change my life. I had all my friends that I loved. I don't really have a great family life back there, so other than like my mum, so I don't know, I just fucking hated myself back there. So I was like, new start, new change, everything. I kind of tried to just be a new person, like just straight up like fully a new person, just be a nice human being and just like it's worked. I hope it's worked out. I hope I'm not still a knob, but but yeah, that's probably the biggest one for me, is literally moving here changed my life, like literally changed everything. Joining a band and doing things that I never thought I would get to do, playing with people I never thought I would ever get to play with, making a bunch of friends, literally having the fucking time of my life, and just learning to be like a nice human and realizing that fucking it's really easy to just be like good to people instead of just be a fucking knob all the time. I was just a fucking 20-year-old dude who wanted to get drunk all the time and act like a bellend, and I was just like, oh, but people actually hate you. Like people don't enjoy like you when you're around doing that. So like try and do the opposite of that. Yeah. So
it must be interesting when you reflect on those times, when you look back, like you're saying just then.
I fucking hate it.
If you had stayed in the UK,
what would life be like if you stayed?
I don't know. It's such a
oh no, you knocked it. Put it back up. Super professional.
Well, there we go. We got him back.
Super professional here.
There we go.
There you got it, bro.
I like to think I'd have learnt my lesson there, but I don't know. The UK's so different. It's such a different environment.
So like, because I moved here when I was real young, but other Brits I talk to and that, people from all over the UK, a lot of them, from what I know, why they move is also because of like, which I kind of agree with, is the mentality of just English, like Brits.
Yep.
A lot of complaining, a lot of like, everything's just kind of not that great. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's like, when I hear people say that, because I've been back a few times and see some family friends.
Yeah.
The last time I went back, and I went to like, saw a few people, and I was like, I know what they mean. Because I hadn't been back in a while. I hadn't been around only English people. And I was like,
We whinge a lot. I still do it, and I don't even know why. I will complain about things that I don't care about.
No, but
I don't understand.
Like the whinging to me is funny, but then it's just always like everything's fucking shit.
Yeah,
and it's just like
I must be for Pommy then.
You're not,
I'm a winter
but in New Zealand, I mean, people are a little bit more positive, but we also have our own shit. Like there's parts of the Kiwi personality that fuck me off, and if we talk about it, but like the whole "she'll be right" thing can really get on my tits. But it's interesting. I guess like just England to New Zealand, it's different but not different.
You have the same drinking culture. The UK is just way more extreme. So
you reckon it's more extreme in here?
Way more extreme. It's crazy extreme, because you guys don't really have like people fighting out in the streets and fucking. Well, you do, but not to the extent in the UK.
We don't have as many people, I guess.
Yeah, it's so common in the UK to leave a pub. Like we would leave the pub where we used to live and go to the specific bar that we knew was a shit bar where people would fight and sit outside and watch with a kebab. Like that was the thing that we would do, and we would just watch these people come out and just like kick the shit out of each other, and that was like entertainment.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because that's just what English people are like. They either just want to like get drunk and fuck or fight. Like that's literally it, and it's just kind of tedious to be around, and it's very like bro energy, and kind of people are miserable. It's like having that negative friend that's always around that's like shitting on everything, and it kind of gets to everyone. Like that's how England kind of felt to me after a while. But it has, which is the craziest thing, because you go to London, and I've always said the same thing. London's the greatest city in the world on like a hot day. Because
I've been there on a hot day. It's amazing.
Yeah, and people are nice and happy, and everyone wanting to be there. It can't just be the weather that ruins people. Like, but that's what we like to fucking say. But on a nice day, everyone on a hot day in London, everyone's nice, everyone's out, everyone's having fun. Like, it's crazy. The shift is insane. So it's not like English people can't. It can't be like the best thing ever. It's just that we choose not to, and we're just being knobs for no reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, because I love it. Like, I love English humor. It's fucking the best.
Oh, English humor is the fucking best.
It's the best, and just the roasting and shit. I love all that so much. But no, I just find it interesting. Like, I guess Brits here and there. I like talking a bit like because I'm from England myself.
Yeah.
Like, understanding why. Sweet.
The dry humor is the fucking nuts. Doing it against Americans is
it is so fun, right? They don't
so uncomfortable.
I don't understand.
You know, I love how Americans think they understand sarcasm. They fucking don't.
They haven't got a Scooby
don't.
fucking do. It's so funny to say something and they're like, what? And they take it literally,
Yeah,
and you're
it's
literally
too
just like,
serious.
oh, this is painful.
Yeah. The thing about New Zealand humor though, is that we're so dry.
Oh, you're very
Fuck, we're dry, and we think it would, and it's like real like little like snickery kind of humor. Like,
Yeah.
they will do that shit all the
100%.
time. Real like but the Americans and the sarcasm. Don't quite get not to say that they can't, but it's I know I've been around America and I make jokes and they're just like, what do you mean? And I'm like,
Yeah, that's the one that gets me. Like, what do you mean? And you're like,
I'm fucking around, bro.
Yeah, or they take like even just saying like, oh, you're right, and they're like, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, that wasn't a question. Like, but okay, cool. I'm glad you're doing fine. Like,
So what day's the gig next week? Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday,
night.
yeah. If you guys want to come along, well, you said you're.
I got my ticket.
Come
I'll
along,
definitely
door.
got to get a ticket and come along. Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
it'd
it
be
was-
sick to have you boys there.
It'd be fucking awesome.
I'm gonna write a review. No.
Please do.
No book out.
Yeah,
Nah.
no, we're pretty stoked though because I think it's I think it's 80% sold out now, which is dope. So
Fuck
hopefully it should
yeah.
sell
Okay,
out on
yeah,
the
it's
night,
okay.
which will be.
Yeah,
Oh, I can just whack you on the door.
No,
if you
no,
like.
no, no.
You know what's
I'll get a
so
ticket.
cool? Because I also realized this with Chris from Caridian now. It's like with you guys and a couple other local bands. It's like you guys now play shows and they're starting to like properly fill out or sell out,
Which is crazy.
It makes me feel so good. It's like, oh man, local music.
Yeah.
on, let's go. Oh
cool
man,
as
it's
fuck.
so good because I mean, I guess been there beginning for a lot of you guys and even like for us, like just playing. Yeah, like you put in all the hard work and it's like seeing it pay off.
Fuck
When,
yeah.
when, they, when,
fucking
when, like,
sick.
yeah, when you guys or Caridian, when you're winning, we're winning.
Yeah.
That's sort
Yeah,
of how
that-
it is.
that's it.
Because
If someone wins
it's
in the
so
scene-
relatable to any musician in the local scene
Yeah.
that's been stomping around and touring and gigging together. That when someone's actually cracking it, or to us, cracking it is like having a bunch of people in a bar and everyone's
Yeah.
having a good night. It's like everyone's winning.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like I'd never understood it when German Banks Arcade were just coming up. I saw so much stuff online giving them shit, and then like them moving over to Australia. And I was like, why? Don't you understand that this is good for us? Like
I thought it was great. They're moving over. Yeah.
I think all of it's good. Them no matter how popular they get, it will always be good for us. Like
course.
anyone, like it will be good for the New Zealand scene. It's just good for like metal in general. It's always going to be great for New Zealand because everyone just goes, oh, they're a Kiwi band. What other Kiwi bands are there? It's literally everything gets drip fed. So when you see like we're talking about the Ed Sheeran Bring Me the Horizon thing, people are like, why the fuck are metal bands doing pop? Because if you don't realize that's how it like gets drip
You
fed.
need to be at the. It's like how you. It's like for me, like it's probably the heaviest band I don't know, heaviest band I listen to. I can't remember right now, but I think like I've listened to like death metal and stuff, but without like Linkin Park,
You wouldn't go there.
No, wouldn't have been there, or even like any of those rock bands, pop punk bands. I wouldn't be listening to like the heavy stuff or enjoying it. Right?
I ain't listening to Thy Art if Linkin Park didn't exist. That's
Exactly.
like, straight up. Like if I never listened to Linkin Park and I never heard Chester scream, there's no way I would have gone, I like that. Let's hear someone else do it. And then someone else did it heavier, and then I went, oh, I like that too.
I
And
was kind of forced. I had no choice. Right? I just because I grew up I'm a bit older, but I grew up in like the older surfers in the mid '90s were all. I mean, we had Nirvana and all that, but that's when like Pantera, Soulfly, Machine Head,
Oh, hell yeah.
all that was just it just happened. So, and I remember when that era happened, which is before the Linkin Park sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And our friends' older brothers just like you'd get your way to the beach in their car sort of thing, and it was just thrashed out. So eventually it was just drummed into your ears.
Yeah.
And then the Linkin Parks and that came along, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, oh, this is kind of like a different version of it.
It's like a poppy version of it.
Yeah, but it was still
Again,
cool because then, when Chester screamed, everyone was like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
that's amazing.
But a gateway band is everything. So when people complain about it, I'm like, you guys don't really understand what a
Yeah, you
gateway
don't get
band
it.
does. Yeah, and you really should understand. If you like your little band down here, you should understand that the more fans are going to get to this little band if you support this big band. So just support it all the way from the top to the bottom because it's literally the best way that it'll make it more popular. Like Bad Omens being the most popular thing in metal right now is the best thing ever. They're still pretty heavy for like what they are. So like it's fucking incredible for metalcore.
For sure.
Where's the gig again?
It's a Big Fan.
Big fan.
Big
It's
fan.
a new venue.
Yeah, it's an all ages one. But it's the first one where they're actually doing what they do in the UK, because I never saw it here in New Zealand to start. So they actually, Tuning Fork are doing it now too, where they actually have security on the door and they'll do a band and there's actually a bar, so you can actually have people come in and actually still drink. But obviously underage people get given a band and you can't drink. Which they do at all UK shows, but here. They were just barring people from coming in, and I was like, "Oh, you're cutting off like half the audience to a band," which seemed fucking crazy. And it's kind of weird now. We've even had to put it on the bottom of the poster because obviously people won't want to come out if there's not a bar. So we've had to like put it on the bottom, like there is a bar still, because obviously New Zealand isn't as used to it. That there's
it's the drinking culture, right?
Yeah.
They see all ages and go, "Oh fuck that! Like I'm not going to be able to have fun and get drunk. I don't want to just see a band sober and stand there and do nothing." So like we've had to.
It's funny
put
if it's all ages, I'll still get ID'd.
Yeah. You will still get
Mate, that's a good problem.
That is true. Sweet, man. Is there anything else you want to fucking... anything else to promote? That you want to...
No, I really wish I could
out?
say the other ones, but I'm fucking... They're not out. They're just like 2 weeks away. The only thing I can say is that we're going to be leaving the country, which will be dope, for the first time. That won't be Oz and New Zealand with a big band, which will be dope. So we're going to be supporting... which will be dope as fuck. And there's a couple. I'm not going to say where or who, but yeah. And then there's a couple of other shows. If people can figure it out themselves, that's on them. I won't say anything. And then there's 2 more shows that are coming. That I think one has been announced, and then there's another one that hopefully we might be on as well. That's happening in New Zealand. So if anyone figures out what they are, we might do those too. Which are also some other big shows.
It all sounds on the way, which is good.
Fuck yeah.
Which is ominous as fuck, but because we're not out and posted, I can't actually say shit. Just in case it falls through as well, and then we don't even end up on it.
Well, you can tell us off air, so yeah.
I'll definitely tell you off air.
You can tell us off air.
I will 100% tell you off air, but I can't say it here.
Nah, it's all good. Fucking awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on and spending the time.
Yeah,
we'll have to get you on.
Thank you for having me, boys.
We'll have to do another one at some point.
Yeah, keen as fuck. When we drop some new music, I'll definitely be down. It'll be super fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fucking cool.
Alrighty.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Bye.